And Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Now, I hope you're all having a fantastic week and you're getting ready for the season of miracles. See, we have miracles every day, but we take them for granted. Even little things like vacation is actually a miracle. Up to less than 100 years ago, people didn't take vacations. They worked and survived. And some of us still do. But when we gather here together, it is a miracle. And the fact that we are here as people from all places, all nationalities, all religions, may too be seen as a miracle, although it was the way it was meant to be. See, there's only one God, and the same God created all man from his spirit, Ruach. And this Sunday night, we celebrate a festival of miracles. Sunday night's the first night of Hanukkah. Now, this is one of the twin festivals of light, Hanukkah and Christmas, when the earth is at its darkest, and we celebrate the return of growing light. And on Sunday night, when we light that first candle, we are celebrating that spirit, that power of creation. That one thing Genesis tells us was not in existence, light. See, when you read the creation story, you see it as a story of separations of pre-existing matter. Water from above, from water from below. And the only thing we are told which is created ex nihilo, or from nothing, is when God says, let there be light. Light. It's much more powerful than dark. Have you noticed that in a dark room, one little light can drive away the fear of darkness? But in a room full of light, darkening it a little doesn't have an effect at all. See, the holiday we celebrate is mentioned nowhere in the Torah or the Tanakh. It comes after those. The name Hanukkah derives from the Hebrew verb chanok, meaning to dedicate, and it's all about the rededication of the temple. Let's talk about it for a moment. But I will do a separate show on it, in a few days. Now, we all know the story. Around 170 before the Common Era, the temple in Jerusalem was sacked by the Syrian Hellenists, who forbid the practice of Judaism and erected an idol in the temple. Now, for several years, there was terrible persecution. And at one point, the Greeks arrived in Modin, which is a city just west of Jerusalem, which can still be visited today, by the way, where they ordered the Jews to sacrifice a pig to the Greek gods. Well, the priest, Mattathias, refused, and he killed the person who was willing to do the sacrifice along with the Greek envoy, and a guerrilla war broke out. Now, this priest, Mattathias, and his son, it's actually his group of sons led by Judah, and Judah was nicknamed Maccabee, the hammer, which was also an acronym for Mi Chamocha Be'elim Adonai. Who was like you among the powers, O God? They lead the revolt. And we are used to singing that psalm of praise, the Mi Chamocha, the Maccabee psalm, during the high holy days. Mi Chamocha Be'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Ne'edai B'Kodesh Osefela Nora Tahilot Osefela. Who is like you, O God among the gods worshipped? Who is like you, God of gods revered? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, fearsome with splendor, working wonders. Maccabee, Mi Chamocha. Well, the actual fighting takes 25 years. But after the first 3, the Maccabees reconquer Jerusalem and start cleaning up. Well, they clean up the temple. And the famous gold menorah, which Moses had instructed the people to design and build, had been melted down. So they lit a makeshift one with the one vial of official high priest lamp oil that they found. Now, the miracle of Hanukkah, of course, is that it burned for 8 days instead of 1, which allowed fresh oil to be brought to the temple. And that's why the menorah, or Chanukiah, lit for the holiday is different from the temple menorah, having 8, not 7 spaces, plus 1 giving 9. That 9 serves as the Shamash, the helper light, which lights the others. Well, the story is well told in the Talmud, in Shabbat 21b, if anybody wants to read it. And there's all kinds of things about it, and we'll talk about it when we do our show on Hanukkah. Now, friends, there are really 2 miracles to note here. The first, the 1 day of oil burning for 8 days, and the second, the amazing military victory of the small force over the great force. One was the physical battle, and we all have ongoing physical challenges and battles, and the other, the spiritual battle. And boy, do we have those. And this is the battle of the force of light over the forces of dark. And that's a battle that many fight their entire lives. Let's face it, dark is usually easier. Ask Darth Vader. So this is the time for all of us to dedicate ourselves to living in a world of light. And we create light by the little things that we do every day. So please, in this dark time, do just a little more light and drive the darkness away. And you can watch our show on Hanukkah during the week ahead as you celebrate light coming back into your life. Now, just as we all gather to bring light into our lives, let's all make sure we continue to take a moment and remember to thank those in your life who make a difference. Continue to do it, friends. It's not just a one-day thing. It only takes a minute. And we all have those few minutes just as every week when we gather to show gratitude and give thanks as we ritualize our existences and we light our candles, share a cup of wine, a piece of bread, the things which represent the gifts of life and sustenance and fellowship that we enjoy daily. But notice only rarely. It's that rare opportunity when we actually put our intention into it that we get a chance to actually bless both God and ourselves. Otherwise, we just, go through the motions of these things. And we do by lighting the candle where the flame reminds us that within each of us lives that divine fire that can illuminate the darkest of places. So may the light that you light enable you to see the work that needs to be done in the awesome majesty of creation all around you. And raise your cup and be thankful for the partnership that you have with creation. May the fruits of the earth nourish each of you and sustain you through your journey. And take the bread of the earth, the bread of life, and in tasting it, know that you share the grain of truth the world over with everyone. Those 3 little offerings of thanks and appreciation, my friends, are all it takes to bless yourself, God, and to regenerate your spirit, to help bring connection to all of us everywhere. You see, it is not we alone who are connected, my friends. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens, the earth, every creature, every living thing. We are all connected. We all have a relationship with God, or whatever you happen to believe in, but we all believe in something, and we all worship in some way. So learn to be loving, forgiving, peaceful, and accepting. Let us make peace right now and celebrate, my friends, as we gather and come together as a community, as we do every week. A like-minded, like-souled unification of spirit. The collective consciousness of seekers coming together in a showing of faith, of love. A community, a chavura, a fellowship expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Achi Gam Gam. Hine Matov. Shevet Achi Gam Gam. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. And as a community, let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the entire world, my friends. Remember, this is your setting aside just a little bit, a tiny little bit of sacred time in your own personal, private, sacred space to talk to whoever, whatever you happen to believe in. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention, your goodwill. And let's send some of that goodwill out to the universe. And let's invoke healing and renewal for everybody you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you can think of. So think of whoever that needs healing, that needs renewal and love, or just goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It is for the entire earth, my friends. It is the healing of the earth. The tikkun olam, healing of the world, that's part of our genetic makeup. And continue to think of and pray for those in need of healing and renewal. For Deborah, for Bob, for Neil, for Sherry, for Americo, still healing from his surgery. for Amy Esther, especially for my little bee, who brings such light into so many lives. Friends, it is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love that we all send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shabbat, Avotenu, Makor, Limotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Mishaberach, let us all have our spirits renewed the world over. This is the great prayer for healing, my friends, in which we call upon God to heal as he has healed before. Mishaberach, may he who blessed. Let us all send and receive healing and renewal, energy and blessings in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow, to unite together, all of us. And remember, next week will be our Festival of Lights and annual candle lighting ceremony. We have names coming in every day. We will be lighting a candle to remember and help elevate every one of those souls. Don't forget, on the 21st, we'll also do a special change in season celebration, again celebrating light coming back into the world as we honor the twin festivals of light. And friends, while Hanukkah is the story of and time of miracles, it always reminds me and coincides in the Torah with the story of Joseph, because that is actually the greatest miracle story of the Bible, the saving of a nation and a people. This week we read Vayashev, and he lived, and it begins the story of the most written about character within the Torah, Joseph. And we see him grow and develop as we saw nobody else and see nobody else. As he goes from, his father's being just a little stool pigeon to becoming the ruler of Egypt and savior of the world. Now this week alone, we will read 4 of the most famous dreams in history. Joseph's dreams of greatness and the prisoner's dreams that are really about freedom and death. A crash of drums, a flash of light, my golden coat flew out of sight. Colors faded into darkness, I was left alone. May I return to the beginning. The light is dimming, and the dream is too. The world and I, we are still waiting, still hesitating. Any dream will do. Now we get to know about Joseph's status right away. The obvious favorite of his father, a spy, a stool pigeon, Genesis 37:2. Joseph, at 17 years old, had been tending the sheep with his brothers, and he was a boy with the sons of Bela and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought a bad report of them to their father. And Israel had loved Joseph the most of all of his children. And he made him a coat of many colors. Well, you know what, friends? We actually have no idea what the Hebrew in that sentence actually means. No translators really can tell us what it is. So instead, all translations use the traditional coat of many colors, and they do that in order to connect 2 stories that appear together. You see, subsequent in this section is the story of Judah and Tamar, and it's a fascinating story. And Tamar does have a coat of many colors, and it's called a coat of many colors. And because connections were so important in the early Bible, the early sages connected these two by the coat. And so we just continue to call it the coat of many colors. And so it's hardly coincidental that the 2 people who wear a coat of many colors in the Bible are both victims of violence by their brothers, and that both coats are torn. The significance of the coat is therefore a symbol of injustice among siblings, and connections were so important. Now this is the story of greed, of hate, of envy. Genesis 37:4. And his brothers saw that their father loved him the most of all of his brothers. We know there's 12 of them. And they hated him. and they were not able to speak a greeting to him. Dibero lo shalom. They could not even say hello to him or peace be with you. Now that is hate. Genesis 37:5. And Joseph had a dream and told it to his brothers. And they went on to hate him even more. Well, they hate him enough they can't even say hello. How can they hate him even more? I've just closed my eyes again. Climbed aboard the dream weaver train. Driver, take away my worries of today. Leave tomorrow behind. Oh, dream weaver, I believe you can get me through the night. Oh, dream weaver, I believe we can reach the morning light. You know what? He actually had two dreams. The first is about sheaves of wheat. His rises, and the others bow down to it. The second has the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowing to him, his father, his mother, and his brothers. Now, these are prophetic dreams. But what's more important is this concept of the double. Okay, we saw the double name calling, how it signifies life-defining moments. We saw that before. Here we have a double dream, both with the same meaning. And the double dreams will again signify a dream that will come true. And you'll see this later with the butler and the baker, and then again with Pharaoh himself. Okay, now Joseph will be able to interpret other people's dreams, but not his own. Like so many of us, he will learn what every psychoanalyst knows, that seeing the meaning of one's own dreams is the hardest. Now, we all know what happened. Jacob sends him to spy on his brothers, Genesis 37:18, and they saw him from a distance. Before he came close to them, they conspired against him to kill him. And the brothers said to one another, here comes the dream master, that one there. And now come on, let's kill him and throw him in one of the pits, and we'll say a wild animal ate him, and we'll see what his dreams will be. Well, you know, they debated. They don't kill him. Instead, they end up selling him to Ishmaelites. And they took Joseph's coat, and they slaughtered a he-goat, and they dipped the coat in the blood. And they're going to send that to his father. Well, the karma of Jacob is now complete. He deceived his father using his brother's clothing and the meat and skins of a goat. Now his own sons deceive him using their brother's clothing and the blood of a goat. Well, Joseph ends up getting sold to one of Pharaoh's key assistants, Potiphar. And he does well for him. But Potiphar's wife's very attracted to Joseph, and she tries to seduce him. He resists, and she accuses him of trying to rape her, and he's thrown in prison. Genesis 39:20. And Joseph's Lord took him and put him in prison, a place where the king's prisoners were kept. Now, while there, Joseph became very trusted by the warden and put in charge. Genesis 40:1. And it was after these things, the drink steward of the king of Egypt and the baker sinned against their Lord, against the king of Egypt. So they were put in prison, and they ended up coming under the watch of Joseph. Lo and behold, Genesis 45. And the two of them had a dream, each his own dream in one night. Here we go, two dreams again. They're dejected. Joseph comes to them and asks, what are your faces bad today? Genesis 48. And they said to him, we had a dream, and there's no one who can tell the meaning of it. And Joseph said to them, don't meanings belong to God? Tell me. Well, the dream master has obviously grown up. He knows what belongs to man and what belongs to God. Something has changed in Joseph. At the beginning of his story, he appeared not to be aware of the prophetic import of his own dreams. But now, he's able to interpret the dreams of others. And next, he will be able to interpret the dreams of Pharaoh, affecting the destiny of countries and of his own family. Well, they tell him their dreams. Each dreamt three things in their dreams. and each was given the meaning. One would be freed in 3 days, and the other would be killed in 3 days. Yes, the world is sacred, and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, my friends. Light a candle. Make a wish. Celebrate your lives, the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive, learn to love, including and especially yourself. Open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. It's so important to do. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week. A week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to improve your will everywhere you go, because they are what sets in motion everything in our lives. Our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. It's all linked together. And as I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven, because you have that knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged, and ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, with accountability, with vulnerability, as you learn to forgive those who've hurt you, so that you can be a more forgiving and compassionate person. Because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace, my friends, is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, the world, just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you can, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land, your home. Keep on dreaming. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always there in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you, act with purity of heart and mind, despise none, defraud none, hate none, cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body, expand the heart, quiet the mind, because the deepest source of real power, my friend, lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform the lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed, and you have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet, health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Friends, your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous. Bless others, bless yourself, and love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. Continue to explore your own personal faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we help each other. We are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support in this world. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they mean. Remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. You're being watched out for. So always try and be kind. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Do not get caught in fear. It's never worth it, my friends. Keep on dreaming of all the things that you can have in life. So long ago, was it in a dream? Was it just a dream? I know. Yes, I know. Seems so very real. Seems so real to me. We're such stuff as dreams are made of. Keep on dreaming, my friends. Now, peace to everyone everywhere. Send in those names and join us later this week for Hanukkah. Shabbat Shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.